Our third guest speaker is Kiru Thangadurai. Kiru is currently the Change Manager Digital Transformation at Rio Tinto. Kiru is also the Managing Director of Astron Consulting and providing leadership and career coaching to leaders in Australia and internationally. She has over 15 years' experience in transformational change, culture and human resources across multiple global organisations. Kiru has a genuine passion to help immigrants and international students address their limiting beliefs and take ownership of their life and to achieve their goals. Kiru is a leader and advocate for inclusion and diversity. She strongly believes how we show up, model behaviours and achieve is how we change culture and set a new example and make more space for women and diversity. Kiru is going to present You Are the Author of Your Life. Please welcome Kiru.
Thank you, Tanya. If your life were a book and you were the author, how would you want your story to go? That is the question that changed my life forever. I was born and raised in southern India in a struggling household to an alcoholic and abusive father and a very insecure mother. So I was predominantly raised by my grandmother amidst the abuse. Reading books was my only escape to my otherwise chaotic reality. I dreamt of all the adventures I read in my books. The older I grew, the angrier I got with my father and his abuse. So one day, I decided to retaliate, and hell broke loose. The following weeks were not only very painful, both physically and mentally, but worse was the confusion. Why is my mother not letting go of this relationship? During this time, one of the teachers asked us this question: if your life were a book and you were the author, how would you like your story to go? When all my friends with enthusiasm replied to follow the footsteps of their parents, though I loved my mother deeply, I did not want the same story as my mother. So, for the first time in my life, I stepped into my power and started creating the first chapter of my life. For most part of the next decade, I worked tirelessly not to get a degree through merit, but also the freedom that I long fought for. I eventually also went on to get an MBA and relocate to Australia. Life was like a fairy tale story. Until it wasn't. When what I thought was my forever relationship turned abusive, knowing that I did not want the same story as my mother, I made the hard choice to end the relationship. And my ex said to me, I made you. You are nothing without me. You're going to be a barista for the rest of your life. Though I was scared, I had no plan, but I knew what to do. I reminded myself the same question again and stepped into my power and started creating the next chapter of my life. But it was not easy. After a year-long battle, including at one point living out of my car and working 3 jobs for over 90 hours a week with no days off, I finally ended up in an entry-level role on a mine site. Now, at this point, though I was financially struggling to make ends meet and also support my family in India, life was good because I was the author. And then one day when I returned home from work, I was sexually assaulted by a random stranger. In the following weeks, when I was recovering from the injuries of the assault, I looked at my bruised face in the mirror. And I pulled all the courage I had left and asked myself the same question. And I promised myself, I will turn this around. I didn't come this far for nothing. So I knew concentrating on my career was the answer. Until that point, I only believed in the limiting opinions that everybody else had on my CV and my lack of Australian experience and education. But for the first time, I trusted in myself. I was a fighter and I was ready for the battle. I became an expert in recruitment and job application sites. I followed through every single job that I applied for, and after what felt like a million phone calls and rejections, I finally ended up in my dream role as a change manager. And for most part of the last decade, I've been fortunate enough to work on some exciting programs across healthcare and mining. I love my work as a change manager, and I currently run my own consultancy. However, being the author of my life, I was excited to create my next chapter as a coach. And that's when I started learning from Katie-Jeyn. Last year, I attended her amazing Build Your Brand and Increase Your Impact training, and within 2 weeks, launched my coaching practice. Katie-Jeyn, working with you has elevated my clarity and confidence to new heights. Thank you. Today in my business Astron Consulting, I bring all my career and life experience together to help leaders and professionals step into their power and be the author of their life. So, my career acceleration power tip for you today: you are the author of your life. Step into your power and start creating your life one chapter at a time. Thank you.
Wow. Wow, let's give a round of applause, everybody. So how do you feel?
Very humbled and fabulous.
Humbled and fabulous. Let's give another round of applause, everybody. Wow, what a powerful story, Kiru. Congratulations. I've had an amazing time working with you, and there's 2 times during our coaching journey together that I've loved the most. The first one is when we had our first session together, and I disrupted your beliefs, and you took massive action, and she created a massive return on investment in a very short period of time. That was fun, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the second part was definitely working on your speech. You actually complimented me in the last session that we had together, and again tonight, just here. And you thanked me because you could have presented your original speech, which was awesome, but we took it to a whole new level, and you absolutely love it, and it was incredible. Yeah. And you said that I didn't have to do that, and it's true. But what I know is we create magic together. Yeah. And I couldn't have done what I did without what you did, and we create magic. And I have absolutely loved working with you, and I really hope that sometime in the future, in some sort of capacity, and who knows what that will be, that we get to create more magic together. Yeah, so congratulations. I've loved working with you. Let's give her a big round of applause, everyone. And Kiru, so you are an awesome change leader, yes, as well as a career coach and leadership coach. So for people here tonight who would love to work with you, and even watching back the video, who would love to work with you, what would be their next step?
Come chat to me in the networking. I love to talk to people one-on-one, get to know you and see how we can work together.
Awesome, I love it. Let's give a round of applause, everybody. You nailed it.